The hospital corridor smelled of antiseptic and despair. Dante Moretti stands outside the ICU, his $2,000 suit wrinkled and stained with blood that isn't his. His hands shake as he stares at his phone, at the 17 missed calls from Sofia, all time-stamped between 9:43 and 10:18 p.m. The last call came at 10:17. 1 minute later, a drunk driver ran a red light on Lakeshore Drive. By 10:19, Sofia's car was wrapped around an oak tree, and Dante's world had ended. The doctor emerges from the ICU, her expression carefully neutral in the way that medical professionals learn when delivering devastating news. Dante's throat closes. He already knows. Deep in his bones, he knows. Mr. Moretti, Dr. Patricia Walsh says quietly, "Your wife is alive, but there were complications." Dante's knees buckle. A nurse appears with a chair, but he waves her away. He needs to stand for this. He needs to bear the weight of what his negligence has cost. Complications? His voice sounds foreign to his own ears. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Dr. Walsh's pause lasts an eternity. The impact caused severe trauma. We managed to stabilize her, but Mr. Moretti, I'm sorry. We couldn't save the baby. The words punch through Dante like bullets. The baby. Their baby. The child Sofia had been trying to tell him about when he ignored her calls, too focused on a shipment dispute that suddenly seems utterly meaningless. No. The word tears from his chest. No, that's not. She was only 3 months. She was healthy. The trauma was too severe. We did everything we could. Dante's vision blurs. He sees his phone screen again, Sofia's name appearing over and over, each unanswered call now a dagger in his chest. She'd been calling to tell him, maybe to share her fear, maybe to ask him to come home, maybe just to hear his voice. And he'd silenced every single call. Can I see her? His voice breaks on the question. She's sedated, but yes. 5 minutes. Dr. Walsh's expression softens with something that might be pity. Mr. Moretti, there's something else you should know. When your wife regains consciousness, she'll need support. The emotional trauma of losing a pregnancy this way can be devastating. Dante nods, but he's not really hearing her anymore. He's already moving toward the ICU doors, toward the wife he failed in the worst possible way. 6 hours earlier, Sofia Moretti sits in her second-grade classroom, surrounded by construction paper turkeys and children's laughter. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and her students are vibrating with pre-holiday energy. She should be too. She has the biggest news of her life waiting to share with Dante tonight. Mrs. Moretti, look at mine. 7-year-old Marcus holds up a lopsided turkey made from his handprint, grinning with pride. Sofia smiles, pushing down the wave of nausea that's been her constant companion for 3 weeks. That's beautiful, Marcus. Your family is going to love it. Family. The word sends warmth through her chest. Tonight, she'll tell Dante that their family is expanding. She's known for 2 weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. The first ultrasound yesterday confirmed what she already suspected. 8 weeks along, due in June. She's planned everything. Dante's favorite meal, homemade lasagna with his grandmother's recipe. Candles. The ultrasound photo tucked inside a card that reads, "Promoted to Daddy." She can already picture his face, the shock giving way to that rare, unguarded smile that first made her fall in love with him. Her phone buzzes. A text from Dante. Running late. Business meeting. Don't wait up. Sofia's stomach sinks. This is the 4th time this week. The 4th dinner she'll eat alone in their Lincoln Park penthouse. The 4th night she'll fall asleep before he comes home. The 4th morning she'll wake to find him already gone. She texts back. We need to talk tonight. It's important. 3 dots appear, then disappear. Then nothing. Sofia stares at her phone, frustration building in her chest. 2 years of marriage and she still comes second to Dante Moretti's empire. She knew what she was signing up for when she married the head of Chicago's most powerful crime family, but knowing doesn't make it hurt less. Mrs. Moretti? Her teaching assistant Jenny appears in the doorway. Parent pickup starts in 10. Sofia plasters on her teacher's smile and helps her students gather their turkey crafts. But her mind is elsewhere, calculating how many times Dante has canceled plans this month. 12. 12 times she's been pushed aside for business that can't wait, for problems that require his immediate attention, for a world that demands everything and gives her only the leftovers. Tonight will be different, she tells herself. Tonight, when he learns about the baby, everything will change. He'll remember what matters most. He'll come back to her. She has to believe that. Because the alternative, that even their child won't be enough to compete with Dante's obsession with power, is too painful to consider. By 7 p.m., Sofia's lasagna is cooling on the stove. The candles remain unlit. Dante's phone goes straight to voicemail. By 8 p.m., Sofia has cleaned the kitchen, graded tomorrow's spelling tests, and sent 3 more texts, all unanswered. By 9 p.m., the nausea is worse. She lies on the couch, one hand on her still flat stomach, talking to the tiny life growing inside her. "Your daddy is going to love you," she whispers. "He just doesn't know about you yet. Once he knows, everything will be different." But doubt creeps in. Will it be different? Or will their child grow up the same way she's living now, waiting for scraps of attention, competing with an empire that demands everything? At 9:30, Sofia's phone rings. For a moment, her heart leaps. But it's not Dante. It's her sister, Elena, calling from Boston. "Hey, Sof, just checking in. How are you feeling?" Sofia hasn't told anyone about the pregnancy except Elena, who'd been with her during the terrifying early bleeding that sent her to the ER 2 weeks ago. The baby had been fine, but the doctor warned her about stress, about taking care of herself. "Tired," Sofia admits. "Dante's working late again." Elena's silence speaks volumes. Her sister has never approved of Dante, never understood what Sofia sees in a man whose business requires secrecy and whose phone calls interrupt every intimate moment. "Sofia," Elena says carefully, "have you told him yet? About the baby?" "I was going to tonight, but he's not home, and he's not answering his phone." "Maybe that's a sign." "Don't start. I'm just saying, if he can't even be bothered to answer your calls now, what makes you think a baby will change anything?" The words hit too close to Sofia's own fears. "He's building something, Elena. He's trying to transition the family business into legitimate operations. It takes time. And meanwhile, you wait. You're always waiting for him, Sof." After hanging up, Sofia stares at her phone. Elena's words echo in her mind. "You're always waiting." It's true. She waits for Dante to come home, waits for his attention, waits for the life he promised her when they got married. Partnership, family, a future built together. At 9:43 p.m., Sofia makes a decision. She won't wait anymore. She grabs her keys and heads for the door. She'll drive to Dante's office in the financial district. She'll walk in and interrupt whatever meeting he's in. She'll tell him about the baby face to face, where he can't ignore her, where he'll have to choose between his business and his family. It's time Dante Moretti learned that some things can't wait. Dante Moretti sits in his private office on the 40th floor of the Moretti building, listening to Vincent Caruso explain why 20 kilos of cocaine have gone missing from a shipment that should have arrived 3 days ago. "Someone's skimming," Vincent says, his voice tight with barely controlled anger. "Has to be someone inside." Dante's jaw clenches. A leak, a betrayal. Exactly what he doesn't need when he's trying to extricate the family business from drug trafficking entirely. He spent 2 years building legitimate fronts: real estate, import, export, tech investments. But the old guard resists. They want to maintain the pipelines that made the Moretti family powerful, and now someone is stealing from those pipelines. Someone close enough to know the routes, the schedules, the safeguards. His phone buzzes on the desk. Sofia's name appears on the screen. He silences it. "Run it down," Dante says to Vincent. "Every person who touched that shipment. I want names by morning." His phone buzzes again. Sofia. Again. Dante feels a flash of irritation. He told her he was working late. Why can't she understand that some nights require his complete focus? Some problems can't wait until morning. He silences the call without looking at it. "Boss?" Vincent says, nodding toward the phone. "Your wife?" "She's fine. Continue." But Vincent's expression suggests he disagrees with that assessment. Vincent has been with the family for 20 years. He was there when Dante's father ran things, when family dinners were sacred and business stopped at 6 p.m. He's watched Dante become the man his father never was. More ruthless, more driven, more consumed by the empire he's building. "Maybe you should answer," Vincent suggests quietly. Dante's cold stare silences him. I said continue. His phone buzzes. Third call, fourth, fifth. Each buzz feels like an accusation. Each ignored call adds weight to the guilt that's been building in his chest for months. He knows he's been neglecting Sofia. He knows she's been eating dinner alone, sleeping alone, living a half-life while he focuses on business. But this shipment, this betrayal, this crisis, it can't wait. Sofia will understand. She always understands. Sixth call. Seventh. "Jesus Christ," Dante mutters, finally grabbing his phone. But before he can answer, it stops ringing. A text appears. "Please, Dante, I need to talk to you. It's important." He types back. "I'm in a meeting. We'll talk when I get home." 3 dots appear. Then, "When will that be?" Dante's frustration spikes. Does she think he wants to be here at 10 p.m.? Does she think he enjoys choosing between business and home? Late. "Don't wait up," he responds, then silences his phone completely and shoves it in his drawer. "Now," he says to Vincent, his voice hard. "Tell me about the shipment." Sofia sits in her car outside the Moretti building, staring up at the lit windows on the 40th floor. She can see shadows moving behind the glass. Dante's up there, so close but completely unreachable. Her phone shows his last text. "Don't wait up." The dismissal stings more than it should. She's his wife, carrying his child, and he can't spare 5 minutes to talk to her. Sofia starts the engine. She's not doing this. She's not begging for his attention like a child competing for scraps. She'll tell him about the baby tomorrow, when he can actually focus on something besides his precious empire. The drive home takes her along Lake Shore Drive, the city lights reflecting off Lake Michigan's dark waters. It's beautiful and lonely, like everything in her life lately. Beautiful on the surface, hollow underneath. Sofia's phone rings through her car's Bluetooth. Elena again. "Did you talk to him?" her sister asks without preamble. "No. He's busy saving the world." Sofia doesn't try to hide the bitterness in her voice. "Come to Boston for Thanksgiving. Get away from him for a few days. Clear your head." Sofia considers it. Maybe distance would help. Maybe time apart would make Dante realize what he's taking for granted. "Maybe," she says. "I'll think about—" Headlights explode in her peripheral vision. Blinding. Too close. Coming from the wrong direction. Sofia's brain has barely registered the drunk driver's truck swerving across the median before the world erupts in screaming metal and shattering glass. The impact hits her driver's side door with the force of a freight train. The last thing Sofia hears before darkness takes her is Elena's voice screaming her name through the Bluetooth speakers. The last thing she thinks is that Dante never answered her calls. The ICU room is dim, lit only by the glow of monitors that track every beat of Sofia's struggling heart. Dante sits beside her bed, holding her hand with a gentleness that contradicts everything he is, everything he's built himself into. Sofia's face is pale beneath the bruises, her dark hair matted with dried blood they haven't yet cleaned. Her left arm is in a cast, 3 broken ribs, punctured lung, severe concussion, and the baby. Dante can't think about the baby. He studies Sofia's face, memorizing every detail as if she might disappear. The small scar on her chin from a childhood bike accident, the freckle near her left eye, the lips he hasn't properly kissed in weeks because he's always rushing, always distracted, always choosing something else over her. "I'm sorry," he whispers, his voice cracking. "Sofia, I'm so sorry. I should have answered. I should have been there. I should have..." But there are no words adequate for what he should have done. No apology big enough for 17 ignored calls. No way to take back the choice that cost them their child. The door opens softly. Dr. Walsh enters, checking Sofia's vitals with efficient movements. "Any change?" Dante asks, though he can see the monitors himself. No change. Sofia remains trapped in medically induced unconsciousness while her body tries to heal. "Her brain activity is good," Dr. Walsh says. "We're keeping her sedated for another 24 hours, but all signs point to recovery. Physically, at least." The caveat hangs in the air. Physically. But what about emotionally? What happens when Sofia wakes up and learns that the baby is gone? That while she was trying to reach her husband, their child was dying inside her? "Has her family been notified?" Dr. Walsh asks. Dante nods. "Her sister is flying in from Boston. Should arrive by morning." He doesn't mention that Elena Reyes hates him, has always hated him, and will undoubtedly blame him for this. She'll be right to. "Mr. Moretti," Dr. Walsh says carefully, "when your wife wakes up, she's going to need support, professional counseling, probably medication for depression. The loss of a pregnancy, especially under traumatic circumstances, can trigger severe psychological distress." "Whatever she needs," Dante says immediately. "Money is no object. The best therapists, the best care, anything." Dr. Walsh's expression suggests she's heard this before from powerful men who think money can fix everything. What she'll need most is her husband, your presence, your attention, your emotional support. The words land like punches. Everything Dante hasn't been giving her for months. "I'll be here," he says. "I'm not leaving her side." Dr. Walsh nods and exits, leaving Dante alone with his wife and his crushing guilt. His phone vibrates in his pocket. Vincent's name appears on the screen. Business, the shipment, the leak. Dante stares at the phone, then at Sofia's bruised face. He declines the call and turns off his phone completely. For the first time in 5 years, Dante Moretti chooses something over the empire. Elena Reyes arrives at Northwestern Memorial Hospital at 6 a.m., her eyes red from crying on the plane. She finds Dante exactly where the nurse said he'd be, in the chair beside Sofia's bed, still wearing yesterday's blood-stained suit, looking like he's aged a decade overnight. "You," Elena says, her voice sharp with accusation. "You did this." Dante doesn't defend himself. He deserves every ounce of Elena's rage. "She was calling you," Elena continues, her voice rising. "She called you 17 times, Dante. 17. And you couldn't be bothered to answer. You were too busy with your business, with your empire, with your goddamn shipments to answer your pregnant wife's calls." "Elena," Dante starts, but she cuts him off. "Do you know what she was calling about? Do you?" Elena's eyes blaze with fury. "She was driving to your office to tell you about the baby. She was so excited. She'd been planning it for days. Special dinner, ultrasound photo, the whole thing. But you didn't come home. You didn't answer. So she got in her car and drove to you." Each word is a nail driven into Dante's chest. He can picture it perfectly. Sofia, frustrated and hurt, making the impulsive decision to confront him, getting in the car, driving toward him while he sat in his office, ignoring her calls. And now the baby's dead, Elena says, tears streaming down her face. And my sister is lying here broken because you couldn't spare 5 minutes to answer your phone. I know, Dante says, his voice barely audible. You think I don't know? Knowing isn't enough. Elena's voice cracks. You've been doing this for 2 years, Dante. 2 years of making her second place. 2 years of canceled dinners and ignored calls and broken promises. She loved you so much that she made excuses for you. But I saw it. I saw her dying inside, waiting for you to choose her. Dante's hands shake. Everything Elena is saying is true. Worse, it's obvious. Everyone saw what he refused to see, that he was slowly destroying the best thing in his life. I'm going to fix this, he says. Elena laughs bitterly. You can't fix this. You can't bring back the baby. You can't undo the accident. You can't erase 2 years of neglect. Then I'll spend the rest of my life making it right. She doesn't want the rest of your life, Elena snaps. She wanted you last night. She wanted you to answer the phone. She wanted you to choose her over your business for once. The accusation hangs in the air. Dante has no defense, no excuse, no justification. When she wakes up, Elena says, her voice dropping to something cold and final. You're going to tell her the truth. All of it. And then you're going to let her decide if she even wants you in her life anymore. Dante nods. It's the least he owes Sofia. The truth and the choice. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Sofia wakes to the sound of beeping and the smell of hospital antiseptic. Her body feels wrong, heavy and distant, like it belongs to someone else. Pain radiates from everywhere at once. Sofia, Dante's voice, rough with exhaustion and emotion. She turns her head slowly, the movement sending lightning bolts of pain through her skull. Dante sits beside her bed, and he looks terrible. Unshaven, disheveled, his eyes red-rimmed and haunted. What? Sofia's throat is raw, her voice barely working. What happened? Dante's hand covers hers and she can feel him trembling. You were in an accident. A drunk driver hit you on Lakeshore Drive. The memories flood back. Driving home. Elena on the phone. Headlights. Impact. The baby, Sofia whispers, her free hand moving instinctively to her stomach. Dante's face crumples. The expression tells her everything before the words come. I'm so sorry, he says, his voice breaking. Sofia, I'm so sorry. They couldn't. The trauma was too severe. They tried everything, but no. The word is barely a breath. No, no, no. Sofia's hand presses against her stomach, searching for the flutter of life she'd just begun to feel. But there's nothing, just bandages and emptiness and the crushing weight of loss. Our baby, she whispers. Dante, our baby. I know. Tears stream down Dante's face. I know, and it's my fault. All of it. You were calling me, and I ignored you. I was too focused on business, on a shipment that doesn't matter, on problems that mean nothing. And because of that, because I didn't answer, you got in the car. You were coming to me. And I. Sofia closes her eyes, the truth of it settling over her like a shroud. She'd been driving to Dante's office. She'd been upset, distracted, emotional. If he'd just answered the phone, if he'd just talked to her for 5 minutes, she would have stayed home. Their baby would still be alive. Get out, Sofia says quietly. Sofia, please. Get out. Her voice is stronger now, sharp with pain and rage and grief. I can't look at you right now. I can't. Just get out. I'm not leaving you, Dante says desperately. Not now. Not ever. I know I failed you. I know I deserve your anger, but please, let me be here for you. Let me. You weren't there when I needed you, Sofia says, opening her eyes to stare at him with an expression that makes Dante's blood run cold. You weren't there when I called 17 times. You weren't there when I was scared and needed my husband. You weren't there when our baby died inside me. So why would I want you here now? The words hit Dante like physical blows. He wants to argue, to explain, to beg for forgiveness. But Sofia's face, devastated and empty and so far away from him, tells him that words are useless. I'll be in the waiting room, he says finally. If you need anything at all. I need my baby back, Sofia whispers. Can you give me that? Dante has no answer. He leaves the room, feeling like he's leaving pieces of himself behind. Outside, Elena waits. Her expression says she heard everything. She needs time, Elena says, not unkindly. For once, her anger at Dante seems eclipsed by her concern for Sofia. I know. Dante runs his hands through his hair. But I can't just leave her. I can't walk away. You've been walking away for 2 years, Elena points out. Maybe staying away is exactly what she needs. No. Dante's voice is firm. I failed her before. I'm not failing her again. She can hate me. She can refuse to see me. But I'm not leaving this hospital until I know she's okay. Elena studies him for a long moment. You really love her, don't you? More than anything, Dante says. More than the business, more than the empire, more than my own life. I just realized it too late. Then prove it, Elena says. Not with words, not with money. Show her through your actions that she matters more than anything else. Dante nods. He doesn't know if Sofia will ever forgive him. He doesn't know if their marriage can survive this. But he knows one thing with absolute certainty. He will spend the rest of his life trying to deserve her. 3 days pass. Sofia refuses to see Dante, speaking only to Elena and the medical staff. Dante maintains his vigil in the waiting room, sleeping in a chair, eating whatever Marcus brings him from outside, ignoring the dozens of calls from Vincent about business that desperately needs his attention. Let it burn, Dante thinks. Let the whole empire collapse. None of it matters without Sofia. On the 4th day, Dr. Walsh approaches him in the waiting room. Your wife is being discharged tomorrow, she says. She's healed enough physically to continue recovery at home. Home? Dante's heart leaps. Maybe Sofia will come back to their penthouse, give him a chance to care for her. Her sister is taking her to Boston, Dr. Walsh says, and Dante's hope crumbles. She'll be staying with Elena for the foreseeable future. Boston, 2 states away, far from him. Did Sofia ask for that? Dante needs to hear it directly. She needs distance, Mr. Moretti. She needs space to grieve and heal away from the reminders of what she lost. Away from him, in other words. Away from the man who cost her their child. Can I see her? Before she leaves? Dr. Walsh hesitates. I can ask, but I can't promise anything. That evening, a nurse appears in the waiting room doorway. Mr. Moretti, your wife will see you. 5 minutes. Dante's heart pounds as he follows the nurse to Sofia's room. She's sitting up in bed, dressed in street clothes that hang loose on her frame. She's lost weight, her face gaunt and pale. But it's her eyes that destroy him. Flat and empty, like something vital has been extinguished. Sofia, he says softly, staying near the door. Thank you for seeing me. I'm only seeing you to tell you something, Sofia says, her voice steady but cold. I don't want you to follow me to Boston. I don't want you calling or texting. I don't want flowers or gifts or your money. I need time away from you to figure out if there's anything left of our marriage worth saving. Each sentence lands like a hammer blow, but Dante accepts them. He deserves worse. How long? He asks quietly. I don't know. Maybe weeks. Maybe months. Maybe forever. Forever. The word hangs between them like a death sentence. I love you, Dante says, his voice cracking. I know I have no right to say that after everything I've done, but I need you to know. I love you more than anything in this world, and I will wait as long as it takes. If you need space, you'll have it. If you need time, I'll give you all the time in the world. But Sofia, please know that I'm not giving up on us. Sofia's expression doesn't change. You gave up on us every time you ignored my calls, Dante. Every time you chose business over dinner. Every time you made me feel like I was an inconvenience in your life. I know, Dante says, and I can't change the past. But if you give me a chance, I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never feel that way again. The rest of your life? Sofia's laugh is bitter. You couldn't even give me 5 minutes on the phone. How am I supposed to believe you'll give me a lifetime? Dante has no answer. She's right. He's broken every promise he's ever made to her. I'm going to prove it to you, he says finally. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to prove that I've changed, that you're my priority, that I will never, ever let you down again. Sofia looks at him for a long moment. Dante searches her face for any sign of softening, any hint of the love she used to show him so freely. He finds nothing. Goodbye, Dante, she says, turning to stare out the window at the Chicago skyline. Close the door on your way out. Dismissed. Shut out. Exactly what he deserves. Dante leaves, pulling the door closed behind him with a soft click that sounds like the end of everything. Elena helps Sofia pack the few belongings she has at the hospital. Sofia moves slowly, her body still healing, her movements careful. Are you sure about this? Elena asks gently. About Boston? I can't stay here, Sofia says. Everything reminds me of the baby, of what I lost, of what Dante cost her, though she doesn't say it aloud. He looked destroyed, Elena says. I've never seen him like that. I think he really does love you, Sof. Love isn't enough, Sofia says flatly. Love doesn't bring back our baby. Love doesn't erase 2 years of neglect. Love doesn't fix the fact that when I needed him most, he chose a drug shipment over me. Elena helps Sofia into a wheelchair, hospital policy, and pushes her toward the elevator. As they pass the waiting room, Sofia catches a glimpse of Dante through the doorway. He's on the phone, his voice low and intense. Even now, even after everything, he's handling business. Sofia's heart hardens. Nothing has changed. Nothing will ever change. Let's go, she says to Elena. I want to get out of here. But what Sofia doesn't see, what she leaves too quickly to notice, is Dante ending the call, his words sharp and final. I don't care about the shipment, Vincent. Sell it. Dump it. I don't care. I'm done. She doesn't see him turn off his phone and drop it in the trash can beside his chair. She doesn't see him put his head in his hands and break down completely, his shoulders shaking with sobs he's held back for days. She only sees what she expects to see. A man who will always choose his empire over her. And maybe, Dante thinks as he watches through the window as Elena's car pulls away from the hospital, taking Sofia to the airport. Maybe she's right to leave. Maybe the kindest thing he can do is let her go. 2 weeks pass. Dante doesn't call or text, honoring Sofia's request for space. But distance doesn't mean inaction. He sits in his attorney's office, signing papers that will fundamentally change everything about the Moretti empire. You're sure about this? Michael Chen, his lawyer of 15 years, asks. This is everything you've built, everything your father built. I'm sure, Dante says, signing another document. Liquidate all drug-related operations. Sell them to the Rossetti family if they want them. Shut down the illegal gambling, the money laundering, all of it. The family won't like this, Michael warns. The old guard will fight back. They can fight all they want. I'm the boss. My word is final. Dante's voice is hard with certainty. And anyone who has a problem with it can leave the family. Michael studies him. This is about your wife. This is about becoming a man worthy of my wife. Dante corrects. A man she can be proud of. A man who builds things instead of destroying them. Over the next month, Dante systematically dismantles the criminal empire his father spent 40 years building. He transitions everything into legitimate businesses, real estate, tech investments, export companies that actually follow the law. The old guard rebels. 3 capos try to organize a coup. Dante handles it with the same ruthless efficiency he once used for business, but now in service of something better. He doesn't kill them. The old Dante would have. Instead, he exiles them from Chicago with enough money to start over, somewhere else. You're going soft, Vincent tells him one night in the office. No, Dante says. I'm finally getting hard enough to make the difficult choice. It's easy to rule through fear and violence. It takes real strength to build something legitimate. Vincent considers this. And if your wife never comes back? If you do all this and she still won't forgive you? Then at least I'll have become a better man, Dante says. And maybe that's enough. But late at night, alone in the penthouse that still smells like Sofia's perfume, Dante knows it's not enough. Nothing will ever be enough without her. In Boston, Sofia begins the slow process of rebuilding her shattered life. She attends therapy 3 times a week, working through grief that feels bottomless. She stays in Elena's guest room, sleeping 16 hours a day at first, then gradually forcing herself back into routines. She doesn't call Dante. She doesn't ask Elena about him. She tries very hard not to think about him at all. But at night, when grief overwhelms her, she finds herself reaching for her phone, wanting to hear his voice, wanting him to tell her everything will be okay, even though it won't be. She never makes the call. Have you thought about what happens next? Elena asks one evening over dinner. What do you mean? With Dante, with your marriage, you can't avoid it forever. I'm not avoiding it, Sofia says. I'm healing. Are you? Or are you just hiding? The question stings because it's true. Sofia has been hiding from her grief, from her anger, from the decision she needs to make about her marriage. I don't know if I can forgive him, Sofia admits. Every time I think about that night, about those 17 calls, I get so angry I can't breathe. That's valid, Elena says. Your anger is completely justified. But anger isn't the same as not loving him, Elena says gently. I see you, Sof. You still love him, even after everything. Sofia's eyes fill with tears. That's the worst part. I hate him for what he did, but I still love him. How pathetic is that? It's not pathetic. It's human. Elena takes her sister's hand. But you need to decide if love is enough, if you can rebuild trust, if you want to try. Sofia doesn't have an answer. Not yet. 6 weeks after the accident, on a cold January morning, Sofia receives an unexpected visitor. Vincent Caruso appears at Elena's door, looking uncomfortable in civilian clothes instead of his usual sharp suits. Mrs. Moretti, he says respectfully when Sofia opens the door. I apologize for the intrusion. May I speak with you for a moment? Sofia's first instinct is to slam the door. Vincent represents everything about Dante's old life, the world that consumed him. But curiosity wins out. 5 minutes. They sit in Elena's living room, Vincent looking distinctly out of place among the cheerful throw pillows and family photos. Mr. Moretti doesn't know I'm here, Vincent begins. In fact, He'd probably fire me if he found out. But I felt you should know some things. I don't want to hear about his business, Sofia says coldly. It's not about business. Not exactly. Vincent leans forward. Mrs. Moretti, in the 15 years I've worked for Dante Moretti, I've never seen him like this. Since you left, he's completely dismantled his father's empire. Everything illegal, everything dangerous. Gone. Sofia's heart skips. What? The drug operations? Sold? The illegal gambling? Shut down. The money laundering? Stopped. He's transitioned everything into legitimate businesses. It cost him millions in lost revenue and nearly started a war within the family. Sofia stares at him. Why would he do that? Because, Vincent says simply, he wants to become a man worthy of you. His words, not mine. That doesn't change what happened, Sofia says, but her voice wavers. No, it doesn't. Vincent agrees. But it should tell you something about how much he's changed. The old Dante Moretti would never have walked away from the empire. He'd have chosen power over everything. But this Dante? He chose you. Even knowing you might never come back, he chose the man you needed him to be. After Vincent leaves, Sofia sits alone in the living room, her mind reeling. Dante dismantled his father's empire. For her. It doesn't fix what happened. It doesn't bring back their baby. But it tells her something important. That maybe, just maybe, he's finally chosen her over everything else. 3 months after the accident, Sofia stands at the grave she never imagined she'd visit. The headstone is small and white, inscribed with simple words that break her heart every time she reads them. Baby Moretti, forever in our hearts. Gone too soon. Sofia doesn't know when Dante arranged for the burial. She'd been too lost in grief to handle any of it, and Elena had quietly taken care of the logistics. But someone chose this spot under an oak tree. Someone selected the headstone. Someone made sure their child had a place to rest. She suspects it was Dante. I'm sorry, Sofia whispers to the grave, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. I'm sorry I got in that car. I'm sorry. Her voice breaks. She's apologized 1,000 times to a child who will never hear her, who never got the chance to be born, who existed for 8 weeks and then vanished like smoke. Your father loved you, Sofia continues, her voice steadier now. Even though he never got to meet you, even though he didn't know about you until it was too late, he loved you. She's not sure if that's true, but she wants it to be. Sofia stands there for a long time, talking to her lost child, sharing all the things she'd planned to teach them, the life they'd planned to build together. The grief doesn't lessen, but something else starts to grow alongside it. A fragile kind of acceptance. She can't change what happened. She can't bring back the baby. But she can choose what happens next. As Sofia drives away, from the cemetery she makes a decision. It's time to stop hiding in Boston. It's time to face her marriage and decide if it's worth saving. It's time to go home. Dante sits in his new office, modest, legitimate, overlooking the Chicago River instead of the entire city. The Moretti building is gone, sold to a tech company for an obscene amount of money. This space is smaller, quieter, and dedicated entirely to legal enterprises. His phone rings. Michael Chen, his attorney. The last of the transitions are complete, Michael says. As of today, the Moretti family is completely legitimate. Congratulations. Dante feels no triumph, only emptiness. What good is a clean empire if Sofia isn't here to share it with him? Thank you, Michael. Have you heard from her? No. 3 months of silence, 3 months of respecting Sofia's need for space, even though every day without her feels like drowning. I don't expect to. You might be surprised, Michael says cryptically and hangs up. Dante stares at his phone, wondering what that meant. Before he can analyze it, his assistant buzzes. Mr. Moretti? There's someone here to see you. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's personal. Dante's heart stops. Send her in. The door opens and Sofia walks into his office. She looks different. Thinner. Her face gaunt from grief and loss. But there's something else too. A strength in her posture. A clarity in her eyes that wasn't there before. She's wearing jeans and a simple sweater, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looks beautiful and devastating and so far away from him that Dante's chest physically aches. Sofia, he breathes, standing up so fast his chair rolls backward. Hello, Dante. They stare at each other across the expanse of his office. 3 months of separation, 3 months of grief, 3 months of transformation on both sides. You look, Dante starts, but words fail him. How do you tell your wife she looks like she's been through hell when you're the one who sent her there? I look like someone who lost a child. Sofia finishes for him, because I am. The blunt honesty hits Dante like a punch. Sofia, I'm so sorry. I know, she interrupts. I know you're sorry. Vincent told me what you've done, the empire, the transitions, all of it. Dante's jaw clenches. Vincent had no right. He had every right, Sofia says firmly. Because you weren't going to tell me. You were just going to do it and hope I somehow found out. I didn't do it for recognition, Dante says. I did it because it was the right thing to do, because I wanted to become a man worthy of you. And have you? Sofia's voice is quiet but challenging. Are you that man now? Dante wants to say yes. He wants to promise her that he's changed, that he'll never fail her again. But he's learned that Sofia needs truth, not promises. I don't know, he admits. I've dismantled everything my father built. I've walked away from the power that defined me for my entire adult life. I go to therapy twice a week. I've learned to turn off my phone, to say no to business, to choose different priorities. But am I the man you deserve? I don't know if I'll ever be that. Sofia studies him, and Dante forces himself to stand still under her scrutiny. Let her see him. All his flaws, all his failures, all his desperate hope that maybe somehow she's here to give him another chance. I went to the cemetery today, Sofia says. Our baby's grave. Dante's throat tightens. I didn't know if you knew about it. I should have asked you about the arrangements, but you were in Boston, and I didn't want to. The oak tree was perfect, Sofia interrupts softly. And the headstone. It was beautiful. I wanted, Dante's voice cracks. I wanted our child to have a place. Somewhere peaceful. Somewhere we could both visit when we were ready. We? Sofia's eyes search his face. You've been to the grave? Every week, Dante admits. Sometimes more. I talk to the baby, tell them about their mother, about how strong and beautiful and incredible you are, about how much I failed both of you. Sofia's eyes fill with tears. Dante. I know it's not enough, he continues, the words pouring out like a confession. I know I can't fix what happened. I can't bring back our child. I can't erase the pain I caused you. But Sofia, I swear to you, I have spent every single day since that accident trying to become better, trying to deserve you, trying to build a life that you could be proud to be part of. Why? Sofia asks, and the question hangs between them. Why now? Why not before the accident? Why did it take losing our baby for you to finally choose me? It's the question Dante has asked himself 1,000 times in therapy, the question that haunts his nightmares. Because I was an arrogant fool, he says. Because I thought I had time. I thought I could balance everything, the empire, the power, the danger, and still keep you. I took you for granted, Sofia. I convinced myself that you'd always be there, waiting for me, no matter how badly I treated you. And I was wrong. Catastrophically. Unforgivably Wrong. You were. Sofia agrees, and the simple acknowledgement hurts more than any accusation could. I can't change the past, Dante continues, but I can tell you this. I would give anything, everything, to go back to that night and answer your calls, to come home for dinner, to hear about the baby when you were excited and happy instead of learning about it in a hospital room after we'd already lost them. Sofia wraps her arms around herself, and Dante recognizes the self-protective gesture. She's scared. She's been hurt so badly that even being in the same room with him requires courage. I'm scared, Sofia admits, confirming his thoughts. I'm scared that if I give you another chance, you'll fall back into old patterns. That business will become important again. That I'll go back to being second place. Then don't give me another chance, Dante says, and Sofia's eyes widen in surprise. Not yet. Let me prove it to you first. Let me show you through actions, not words, that I've changed. How? However you need me to, Dante says simply. If you want me to check in every day, I will. If you want access to my calendar, my phone, my entire life, it's yours. If you want couples therapy, we'll go. If you want me to walk away from business entirely and get a normal job, I'll do it. Tell me what you need, Sofia, and I'll make it happen. Sofia stares at him for a long moment. Dante holds his breath, waiting for her verdict. I need time, she says finally. I need to see if this change is real or if it's just guilt talking. I need to know that 6 months from now, a year from now, you'll still choose me over the empire. I will, Dante says with absolute certainty. There is no empire anymore. I dismantled it. There's only legitimate business now, and even that, I'd walk away from it all if it meant keeping you. Don't make promises you can't keep, Sofia says, but there's less coldness in her voice now. I'm not, Dante insists. Sofia, I spent 15 years building power. I know how to do that. What I didn't know, what I'm learning now, is how to build a marriage. A real partnership. A life that isn't defined by violence and danger and constant crisis. Sofia takes a shaky breath. I don't know if I can forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I know, Dante says. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to earn it. And if I can't give you that, if the hurt is too deep, Dante's heart breaks, but he forces himself to say the words. Then I'll accept it. I'll sign whatever papers you want, give you whatever settlement will make your life easier, and I'll let you go. Because I love you enough to want you to be happy, even if that happiness doesn't include me. The declaration hangs in the air between them. Sofia's eyes search his face, looking for deception or manipulation. She finds only truth. I'm staying at a hotel, Sofia says finally. The Peninsula. I'm going to be in Chicago for a while, figuring out what I want to do next. My job at the school. I can't go back there. Too many memories. Whatever you need, Dante says. If you need help finding a new position, if you need. What I need, Sofia interrupts, is for you to respect my boundaries. I'll call you when I'm ready to talk. Don't show up at my hotel. Don't send gifts. Don't try to force this. It's not what Dante hoped for, but it's something. It's Sofia in Chicago instead of Boston. It's the possibility of conversations instead of silence. I'll wait, he says, as long as it takes. Sofia nods and turns toward the door. But before she leaves, she pauses. Dante? Yeah? The grave. Thank you for taking care of that. For making sure our baby had somewhere peaceful. It was the least I could do, Dante says, his voice thick with emotion. I failed you both in life. I couldn't fail in that. Sofia's expression softens fractionally, and for a moment Dante sees a glimpse of the woman who used to look at him with love instead of pain. Then she's gone, the door closing softly behind her. Dante sinks into his chair, his entire body shaking. Sofia is in Chicago, She came to see him. She's willing to consider the possibility of reconciliation. It's more than he deserves, and he's going to prove to her, day by day, that he's worth the risk. 3 days pass before Sofia calls. Dante's phone rings at 8 p.m. on a Thursday, and he answers before the second ring. Sofia? I've been thinking, she says without preamble. About what you said, about proving yourself through actions. Okay, Dante says carefully, not wanting to push too hard. I want to see your life, Sofia says. Your new office, your new business, your daily routine. I want to see if this change is real, or if it's just a performance for my benefit. It's real, Dante says, and I'll show you. When do you want to start? Tomorrow, 9 a.m., I'll meet you at your office. I'll be there. The next morning, Dante arrives at his office at 7 a.m., nervous in a way he hasn't been since he was a teenager. He double-checks everything. His calendar is cleared for Sofia. His phone is set to do not disturb. His assistant knows that Sofia takes priority over everything. Sofia arrives exactly at 9, wearing a professional dress and carrying a notebook like she's conducting an investigation, which, Dante realizes, she is. Show me, she says simply. Dante walks her through his day. He shows her his calendar, filled with legitimate business meetings, therapy appointments, and personal time that he actually blocks out and protects. He introduces her to his new team, people who work normal hours and have actual lives outside the office. What happens when there's a crisis? Sofia asks, watching him carefully. When something urgent comes up? I have capable people who handle it, Dante says. I'm the CEO, not the entire company. If there's a crisis I can't handle during business hours, it waits until the next day. And that works? It does. Because I'm not running a criminal empire anymore, where every problem requires my immediate personal attention. I'm running legitimate businesses that have systems and structures and people who are paid to solve problems without me. Sofia makes notes in her notebook. Over the next 2 weeks, she appears at Dante's office randomly, sometimes announced, sometimes unannounced. She sits in on meetings, reviews his schedule, even talks to his employees. Your staff seems happy, she observes after one particularly long day of shadowing him. That's new. People work better when they're not terrified, Dante says. Who knew? The tiny hint of humor makes Sofia's lips twitch. Not quite a smile, but closer than Dante has seen in months. I also want to see your therapy, Sofia says. I want to sit in on a session. Dante's therapist, Dr. Robert Manning, agrees after confirming with Dante that he's comfortable with Sofia's presence. The session is brutal. Dante talking openly about his failures as a husband, his struggle to change patterns ingrained by his father, his grief over the baby and the role he played in that loss. Sofia sits silently throughout, but Dante can feel her watching him, evaluating, deciding. When the session ends, they walk out together. Sofia is quiet, processing what she heard. You really are trying, she says finally. I can see that. I told you I would. Trying isn't the same as succeeding, Sofia says. Change is easy for a few weeks, Dante. The question is whether it lasts. Then watch me, Dante says. For as long as you need to. I'll prove it lasts. A month passes. Sofia maintains her distance, but she starts calling more frequently. They have dinner twice, public restaurants, careful conversations about neutral topics. Dante doesn't push for more. He lets Sofia control the pace, the boundaries, the terms of their interactions. One evening, Sofia appears at the cemetery. Dante is already there, sitting beside their child's grave, talking quietly. I didn't know you'd be here, Sofia says, startling him. I come every Sunday, Dante says. I didn't know you were coming, or I would have... No, it's okay. Sofia sits down beside him, careful to maintain distance between them. What do you talk about when you're here? Dante is quiet for a moment. I tell them about you, about how incredible their mother is, how strong you've been through all of this, how much I wish they could have known you. Sofia's eyes fill with tears. I tell them about you too, about how much you've changed, about how I think maybe their father would have been a good dad, if he'd gotten the chance. You do? Dante's voice is barely a whisper. I'm starting to, Sofia admits. I'm starting to believe that maybe you really have changed. That maybe the man sitting here talking to our baby's grave is different from the man who ignored my calls that night. I am different, Dante says. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still struggle, but I'm trying every day to be better, to be worthy of you. They sit together in silence, both grieving the child they lost, both feeling the fragile connection starting to rebuild between them. I miss you, Dante says finally. I miss my wife. I miss coming home to you. I miss everything about our life together before I ruined it. I miss you too, Sofia admits. And I hate that I do. It would be easier if I could just hate you and walk away. You can still do that, Dante says, though the words cost him. If that's what you need. It's not, Sofia interrupts. I don't want to walk away, but I don't know how to move forward either. I'm stuck, Dante. Stuck between the past and the future, between the pain and the possibility. Then let me help you get unstuck, Dante says. Tell me what you need from me. Sofia thinks for a long moment. I need to know that if we have another child someday, you won't make the same mistakes. I need to know that our family will always come first. It will, Dante says with absolute certainty. I swear to you, Sofia, on our child's grave, I swear that family comes first. Always. Sofia looks at him, searching his face. Then, slowly, she reaches out and takes his hand. It's the first time she's voluntarily touched him since the accident. The contact sends electricity through Dante's entire body. I'm not ready to come home yet, Sofia says softly, but maybe we could try dating again. Start over, like we're meeting for the first time. I would like that, Dante says, his voice thick with emotion. I would like that more than anything. Okay, Sofia says. Then ask me. Sofia Reyes, Dante says, a small smile breaking across his face. Would you have dinner with me this Friday night? A real date? Just the two of us? Yes, Sofia says, and for the first time in 4 months, she smiles back. I'll have dinner with you. They sit together beside their child's grave, holding hands, both knowing that the road ahead will be long and difficult. But for the first time since the accident, both of them believe that maybe, just maybe, they can find their way back to each other. 6 months later, Sofia stands in the kitchen of their new house. Not the penthouse where bad memories live, but a brownstone in Lincoln Park with a garden and a room that could someday be a nursery. She moved in 3 months ago, taking the careful step of rebuilding their life together. It hasn't been easy. There have been arguments, setbacks, moments when old patterns threatened to resurface. But Dante has kept his promises. Every single one. He comes home at 6 p.m. every night unless he texts in advance. He keeps his phone on silent during dinner. He goes to therapy, both individual and couples. He's built a life that has space for her, for them, for the family they might build someday. Hey, beautiful, Dante says, entering the kitchen and wrapping his arms around her from behind. How was your day? Sofia leans back against him, feeling safe in a way she once thought was lost forever. Good. The new job is going well. My students are sweet. She'd found a position at a different elementary school, one without painful memories. The grief over losing their baby still surfaces sometimes, probably always will, but it doesn't consume her anymore. I'm proud of you, Dante murmurs against her hair, for everything, for being strong enough to come back, for giving us another chance. I'm proud of you too, Sofia says, turning in his arms to face him. For changing. For actually doing the work instead of just talking about it. Dante cups her face gently. I almost lost you. I almost lost everything. I'm never making that mistake again. Good, Sofia says, rising on her toes to kiss him. Because I have something to tell you. Dante pulls back, studying her face. Something in her expression makes his heart race. What is it? Sofia takes his hand and places it on her stomach. I'm pregnant. Dante goes completely still. What? 8 weeks, Sofia says, tears streaming down her face. Happy tears this time. I found out yesterday. I wanted to wait to tell you in person instead of over the phone. We're... Dante can't form complete sentences. He drops to his knees, pressing his forehead against Sofia's stomach. Hi, baby, he whispers. I'm your dad. And I promise you I'm going to be there for you. For every moment. I'm going to be the father you deserve. Sofia runs her fingers through his hair, her own tears falling freely. I'm scared, she admits. After what happened last time. I know, Dante says, standing up and pulling her close. I'm scared too. But we're going to face this together. And this time, Sofia, I'm going to be there every step of the way. Every doctor's appointment. Every moment of worry. Every kick and hiccup and midnight craving. I'm going to be there. Promise, Sofia asks, searching his face. I promise, Dante says, on everything I am, on everything we've built together. I promise. Sofia believes him, not because of his words, but because of his actions over the past 6 months. Because he's proven, day after day, that his priorities have changed. That she comes first. That family comes first. I love you, she whispers. I love you too, Dante says, holding her close. Both of you. That night, they lie in bed together, Dante's hand resting on Sofia's stomach, both of them marveling at the miracle of second chances. What do you think our baby will be like? Sofia asks. Strong, like you, Dante says immediately. Kind and brave and everything good in this world. Protective, like you, Sofia adds. Loyal, someone who fights for the people they love. And loved, Dante says firmly. So incredibly loved. Every single day. Sofia turns to look at her husband, seeing not the man who failed her, but the man who rebuilt himself to deserve her. The man who dismantled an empire to build a family. The man who learned finally what truly matters. We're going to be okay, she says. All 3 of us? Better than okay, Dante promises. We're going to be happy. And for the first time in a long time, Sofia believes it. Epilogue, 18 months later. Dante Moretti sits in a rocking chair at 3 a.m., cradling his 6-month-old daughter, Isabella Sofia Moretti, against his chest. She'd woken crying, and he'd gotten to her before the second cry, not wanting Sofia to lose sleep. Shh, Principessa, he murmurs, rocking gently. Daddy's got you. Isabella's cries fade to hiccups, then silence as she settles against his chest. Dante looks down at her perfect face, Sofia's dark eyes, his stubborn chin, and feels his heart overflow with love so intense it's almost painful. He thinks about the man he used to be. The man who would have missed this moment because he was in the office at 3 a.m. handling a crisis. The man who would have chosen power over this tiny, perfect creature sleeping trustingly in his arms. I'm so glad I get to be your dad, he whispers to Isabella. I'm so glad I changed in time to deserve you and your mama. She's got you wrapped around her finger, Sofia says from the doorway, smiling. Dante looks up at his wife, backlit by the nursery nightlight, and falls in love with her all over again. Just like her mother. Sofia crosses to them, kissing Isabella's head, then Dante's lips. Come back to bed soon. You have that meeting at 9. I'll be there, Dante promises. I just want to hold her a little longer. Don't be too long, Sofia says, heading back to their bedroom. I miss my husband. After she leaves, Dante continues rocking Isabella, thinking about the journey that brought him here. The mistakes, the pain, the loss, the slow rebuilding of trust. He'll always grieve the baby they lost. That wound will never fully heal. But from that tragedy came transformation, the push he needed to become the man his family deserves. Your big sister is watching over you, Dante whispers to Isabella, from heaven. And I'm watching over you here, always. No phone calls, no business meetings, no empire will ever be more important than you and your mama. That's my promise to you. Isabella sighs in her sleep, one tiny hand fisting in Dante's shirt. Dante closes his eyes and thanks whatever force in the universe gave him this second chance. He almost lost everything. But through Sofia's strength, through his own painful growth, through the grace of second chances, he found his way home. Not to an empire or a throne or the fear and respect of Chicago's underworld. Home to this, a sleeping baby in his arms, a wife who loves him in the next room, and a life built on what truly matters. Finally, Dante Moretti understands what it means to be rich. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.